Welcome to Black Wallet Small Biz Saturday. This is the network where our business owners showcase their product and services. Today, it is a real pleasure for me to introduce you to Netstroke PR LLC and with the one and only Sharon Devonish Lead. How are you doing, Sharon?
I'm so good, Franklin. Thanks for having me.
It's a real pleasure. So, Black Wallet is a networking association with plenty of small businesses working together to support one another. One of the things we realize, all small businesses, most of them, if not all of them, do not know really about PR services. Me personally, I got introduced into the PR services because of the Black Wallet show. I never really understood what it does. So, can you tell us a little bit about this product or services, how important it is for businesses, small businesses in particular?
Absolutely. And once again, thanks again, Franklin, for having me. A lot of businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurs particularly, really don't understand what PR is, public relations. When I come across people, they come to me and they say, "Oh, I need PR." And my first question to them is, what exactly are you looking for when you're talking about PR? Is it marketing? Is it drawing sales, immediate sales to your brand? Is it building exposure? What are you exactly looking for? Mostly, it's like 50-50. A lot of individuals say that they're looking for brand exposure. And the other 50% are looking for they need to get sales driven, like immediate sales driven. Public relations does both. However, public relations, the main feature of public relations is building brand exposure. You're telling your story about what your brand, what your business is all about, and you're not selling. You are literally telling individuals, telling the masses what your brand can do for them, how it can make their life easier, what awareness it's bringing to them. Um, you know, Things like that is what public relations does. And public relations is is very broad. It's media relations, it's community engagement, it's social media, it's building relationships, it's in enforcing letting people know about your brand, building exposure on many levels. So when someone would say, "Oh, it's just interviews with the media," no, it's not. It's broader than that.
Okay. And nowadays with COVID-19, we see a lot of people going online. They do much more online business, e-commerce. How does PR fit into this world, this new world that's coming?
Well, PR has changed. Now, I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I actually started out as the executive director for community relations, community engagement for the city of New York for one of the agencies, but I also dealt with public relations. And before social media and online is like the wave now, before then, you really had to focus on that strong building relationships with journalists, with media outlets, the news stations, and so forth, like that. Now with COVID here and how social media has been like the forefront of pretty much any type of online footprint, public relations, media, journalists, they go to your social media page to pretty much see what you're doing. So you as an entrepreneur, as a business, you should be putting out valuable content about your brand, about what you're doing, how you're helping people on your social media platform, because one, it's building your exposure, it's letting more people see you, and you're able to be seen and found if someone decides to look you up and see that you're doing the business. So social media is extremely important in the public relations industry, because that's part of our tools that what we use to help build your relation, to help build your exposure.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you just join the live, we are talking PR with the one and only Sharon Devonish Lead. She's the best PR in the whole tri-state area, if not in the whole United States. So she's with us today to tell us the importance of PR for businesses and how could you benefit from that. As Sharon say, There are two ways you guys can use PR services for. It's either driven sales into your business or the brand development. Uh, Sharon, would you say that there is a type of business that doesn't really need the PR services, or is it for all business type?
I feel all businesses should have a PR footprint. Definitely should have a PR footprint. Why is that? Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody's business is unique. And if you do not use the public relations tools to build out your exposure and build out what your business is about, no one's going to know about you. Now, granted, there are other tools that I use also besides online, which is networking, which Black Wallet is, a firm believer in networking. But again, this is something where you are going to the masses. You are getting public relations. Someone is interviewing you based off of your influence, based off of your credibility, based off of your experience. And it's a third party who is justifying your credentials. So it is important for every single business to have some type of PR campaign, whether it's on a small scale that you're using social media, or it's on a little larger scale where you're actually tapping into the media world. You're getting the interviews, you're connecting with journalists. So yes, every single business. And I don't want a business to think that they are not newsworthy. There are always angles that you can pitch that your business will be newsworthy, because that's how the media looks at you. Again, do not think that dealing with the media is selling. That's marketing. Public relations, media relations is all about telling the story, all about being that newsworthy component in the eyes of the journalist, because what they want to do is provide content and positive information and quality information for their listening audience.
Definitely. I totally agree with you because there are plenty of businesses out there, plenty of associations. So you may be in an industry and then you're selling the same products. And there's nothing make the difference between you and somebody else. The way you tell your story, the way you expose your brand, your product, it's what's gonna make the difference. Black
Yes.
Wallet uses services of sharing PR, and for our first interview, she got us none other than George C. Fraser. So a man who won over 300 awards, winning awards from President Obama himself. So so it is something. The way you tell your story is what's gonna make the difference between you and the average Joe. It is very, very important. Is there anything that you would say that people should look out when they are looking for a PR services? Because we know there are a lot of scammers out there. Because on Instagram, Facebook, any social media account, you see people saying, I can do this for you and that for you. What do businesses should look out when they are considering hiring PR services?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. And the reason why I'm saying that you asked that, that was a question that was asked to me about a week ago. How do you find an effective public publicist to work with your brand? And one of the things that I indicated was that you should, do your research on them. Look at their resume, see what type of experience that they had. Now, they may not be in their own brand as a publicist, but they've been doing the work. That's why I say, look at their resume. Like for me, for instance, my business is 7 years old. However, for 20 years, I have been dealing with the media because, again, my experience started with working for the city of New York for an elected official with the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office. So, my credentials and my experience goes way beyond my 7 years as being an actual publicist for Netstruck PR for my own brand. So that's one thing. You also want to see what is their relationships or connections that they have with media outlets. They should have a media list. And, that's very crucial because it's very hard to sell to the media because it has to be what they're looking for. So it has to be newsworthy to them. And you have to be the flavor of the moment for them. And, if you have those great relationships with some media outlets, you pretty much can have that conversation with them to say, how is it my client can be newsworthy for you? Are you looking for this particular storyline? And they'll tell you because, again, you've created that relationship. Media outlets, journalists, reporters, they're looking for content daily. So it's not to say that this is not something that they are just going to take and not even look back at. It may take a month, 2 months, it may even take 6 months or to a year, but you have that relationship knowing that it's an ongoing consideration because it may be for that awareness month. So it's those things that what you want to make sure that they, have those connections. And then you want to look at some of their placements. Have they had any placements? That also will build off of the relationships of what they've had. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am still on a roll, and this is with every publicist. We're still on a roll in developing different type of relationships in different platforms. So, Forbes and, New York Times, Washington Post, those are national outlets that where it's very, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult getting a client in there, but you also have the local media. So find out from that publicist if they're in your area or how do they connect with the local media in your specific area. And listen, it's just like riding a bike. um, you know Once you pick up on it and you can figure it out, you know how to connect with a local media if it's someone outside of your state. I have clients I'm in New York, so I have clients outside of New York State, and I've known how to connect with the local media and and pitch to them to start building that relationship for my client.
Definitely. They say, tell me who you going out with. I will tell you who you are. So the services that you provide do exactly that. Not only you expose them, but also there is a factor of trust. When somebody is working for you, it's like they have your seal. And we can see that network short PR can put people everywhere. I don't know, you guys can see all of those network: CNN, Sirius XM, ABC News, New York Times, BET Her. So all of those avenue where network short PR can put you through. So, Robin, would you tell us a little bit about Netstroke? Like when people hire you, so what they could expect in terms of revenue or sale or in terms of branding? So, because sometimes people won't invest $1 if they don't expect to get like $3 to $4. So, when they use your services, what can they expect?
Well, first of all, public relations is you know it's a process. And why I say it's a process is because your messaging has to be newsworthy. It has to be interesting to media when you're putting it out there. And I don't only say for media, I also say for your clients. Just as good as for the media is just as good for your clients. So what we first initially start off with is let's look at your messaging. What type of message are you putting out on your brand? And we might sometimes have to craft a more structured messaging that the media would be interested in, that your high ticket clients would be interested in. So that's our first step in what we work with. I have clients fill out a very long questionnaire, and it's really doing a deep dive in terms of themselves, their brand, and their business, and how their brand is being used to help individuals out, bring awareness. And I also add on that, give back component, because what the media loves is a great give back story. So we start off with that and building on the messaging, building on your crafting of your angles and pitches. And then we create a press release. And once that press release is completed, now we start putting it out to different organizations and letting them see exactly what your brand is about and what is being done.
Okay, and another thing that we benefit from your services, it's a little bit of business consulting. So you help us polish our message, and then it even goes deeper into how to do this and that better. So it's not only presenting the brand, the image, the product, but you also help us with the structure. So can you tell our viewers how they can get to you, how they can benefit from your services, what it's gonna cost them, and stuff like that?
Well, I don't get into cost immediately because again, it's an assessment of what I do. But how they can, work with me or at least get some tips from me, I always encourage individuals to join my private Facebook group, which it's called It's a Media and Mentoring Thing. And you literally can just type it in into the search bar in Facebook and it'll pop up and you can join that group. And with that, you'll be getting tips from me. You'll be getting advice. You'll be getting different suggestions and how you can actually build yourself to build your brand exposure. The next thing is you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and on all social media platforms. I have both a business page for LinkedIn, which is Netstruck PR. I also have my private business page, which is on my name, Sharon Devonish Lead. And you can also find me on all social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. You can also go to my website, which is netstruckpr.com, and you could you could contact me on that platform as well. There are just so many opportunities that I like to give to small businesses because at the end of the day, they don't have the bandwidth like the larger companies to get their brand exposure. And it could be literally something as terms of just really just having clients understand their messaging, understand their storyline. For example, I had somebody that reached out to me yesterday that's going to be utilizing my services. And he, his, and I'm not going to, put it out there in terms of, but it's something where he just did not see PR as, PR that would actually work for him. And when I explained to him that, PR is about the interviews, it's about the storyline, and it's about how your brand is different and unique, then he understood that, okay, this is something that I definitely need to use. So, we're able to start working together in the next month. But I bring out that question for you, whereas you may seem that my business is not newsworthy because it's never in the news, but you never know because there are angles, and you don't have to necessarily put your name brand out there like that, but you can associate it with a particular storyline that the news is talking about. And that's what I bring out with businesses. So I hope you guys would, really just touch base, join my Facebook private group, and you guys would definitely be able to get some great tips. I am a part of Black Wallet, so you have me, with this as well. So either way, you can reach out to me.
So I have one last question. I feel like I can hold you for like an hour. I have one last question and then I'll let you go. Definitely you are going to come back because the network, you are part of the network. So you are going to come back and then share those wonderful information with people. So for the business owners who think, how does PR services compare with marketing strategy? Is it part of it? Is it something that you can do either or? Either you promote on social media, on your Facebook page, Instagram, or you do only the PR services. Can they work hand to hand, or can you substitute one to the other?
I would not recommend substitute one for the other. Your business is your baby. So do not shortcut branding and building exposure on your business. PR, public relations, is part of marketing. Marketing has its own entity because marketing is literally ads. It's driving immediate sales to your brand. Public relations, media relations, and let me say media relations builds your storyline. It builds the exposure for you, which then will add on to your marketing that will then drive the sales. So you have to have them both hand in hand. People don't know about your story. People want to do business with who they trust, who they can relate to. You don't get that out of marketing. It's a straight, you're doing ads, you're putting in a short storyline here or there, but you are looking for that immediate drive for sales, and you can't really get that storyline out of that with the marketing. You're putting price lines on marketing. You're doing everything that you don't do when you're dealing with when you're dealing with media relations. In media relations, you're pretty much telling the story that would fit that ad. So if you're saying that how you are a domestic violence victim survivor, and you now have this program that you want individuals to be a part of, well, then that storyline then goes into that ad, and people will now understand the background and why they will want to work with you.
Definitely. So I only had you for 10 minutes. I doubled that. But
That's
thank you
okay.
very much. It's great information. I'm pretty sure our viewers will benefit from that. And if you want to give your information again, they can contact you from the Black Wallet Network on
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook, but they can also contact you directly. Would you want to give them again your contact information? We put
Ab-
the name of the company for them here, Netstroke PR LLC, and then the golden name, Sharon Devonish Lead. So any research on any network or any simple Google search will lead you to this wonderful lady, woman, that is Sharon, that will help your business. Black Wallet uses her services, and we are growing. And every second spent with Sharon, it's inspiration, it's education, it's empowerment, upliftment for us and for our members. So please share your contact information with them again, and see you next.
Okay, thank you so much, Franklin. And again, I appreciate Black Wallet for this platform. I appreciate the membership that what I have with Black Wallet. And you could definitely get in contact with me through the Black Wallet platforms, as well as my platforms, which is Netstruck PR LLC. And that's on all social media platforms. My LinkedIn page is my full name, Sharon Devonish Lead. And you can also go to my website, which is netstruckpr.com.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And see you next Saturday for Small Biz Saturday. We will have Haven Financial Solutions, Gillian telling us about business insurance and all of that good stuff. So next Saturday, 11 a.m. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, Sharon.
Thank you. You
And
too.
don't forget, I am Black Wallet. You are Black Wallet. We all are Black Wallet. Thank you.
Thanks.